Now, let us look at the summary of the novel on a chapter by chapter basis. So let us proceed. Chapter 1. In chapter 1, Bint, a 5-year-old girl, shares her amusing encounter with Malam Salihu, their persistent social studies teacher. Despite his belief in knowing everything, he faced ridicule when Bint, in response to his question about saying good morning in French, challenged him to express that is very good in French. Unable to do so, Malam Salihu left the class, only to return after a break. As Bint and her siblings laughed about this humorous incident, their mother joined them in the room, urging them to appreciate Malam Salihu's humility in seeking help from the French teacher. The conversation shifted when Omar announced his admission to Ahmadu Bello University to study law, prompting a deeper discussion on life issues concerning Umi's children. Chapter 2. In this chapter, we have details of Umi's admission to the university and agreement with her father to marry before graduation. However, her husband chose to marry her before she even started university. Umi shares her encounter with Sama and the embarrassment she faced for making spiteful comments about a university official during faculty registration. Umi, unaware of Dr. Samuel Johnson's connection to her husband, displayed unwelcome behavior when obtaining her matriculation number. Later, she discovered Dr. Samuel Johnson was instrumental in securing her admission. Feeling regretful, Umi asked her husband to apologize to Dr. Samuel Johnson on her behalf. Chapter 3. In Chapter 3, Umi shares the story of Tale, the reserved individual, as a cautionary tale to her children, especially Uma, her eldest, newly admitted to the university. Tale, a native of Lafayette, faced early hardships with the loss of his parents in a tragic car accident when he was barely 20. Isolated, he immersed himself in his job as a driver at the local government office. One day, his increased grocery purchases raised suspicion, leading the grocer to alert the district head, Hakimi, about Tale's unusual behavior. Summoned to the palace, Tale's inability to answer questions aroused suspicion, leading to a police investigation. Surprisingly, The police, accompanied by military escorts, revealed Tale's involvement in kidnapping, armed robbery, and extortion. Tale was arrested, and during the investigation, he disclosed the location where he had hidden his victim. Ultimately, Tale and Zaki were sentenced to prison with hard labor. Chapter 4. In this chapter, we have the narrative of Sama's university admission at the age of 20 and highlights her significant encounter with Dr. Dabu, the 100 level coordinator. Dr. Dabu, known for his discipline and fair treatment of students, deviated from his usual conduct when Sama, appearing radiantly gorgeous, visited his office. He uncharacteristically requested an intimate friendship, but Sama promptly rejected, leading him to repent and vow to maintain his guard. Sama secured a place in the renowned Queen Amina Hall, initially disliking her roommates, that is Tomiwa, Ngozi, and Ada, due to the lack of choice. However, they eventually formed a seamless bond, living together like sisters. One evening, returning from home, Sama met Habib and Labaran at Kwangila. They offered her a ride to the school campus, and upon reaching the destination, Sama, using the name Tomiwa, shared Tomiwa's number with them. Chapter 5. The following evening at 8 p.m., Habib contacted Tomiwa, informing her they were waiting in front of her hostel and suggesting they hang out. Curious, Tomiwa ventured out to meet Habib. However, Habib astutely realized she wasn't the person he had given a ride to the night before. Tomiwa admitted this, disclosing that Sama had shared Tomiwa's contact. Habib sent Labaran to fetch provisions and suya for them, giving Tomiwa 50,000 naira, instructing her to give 10,000 naira each to her roommates and keep the remaining 20,000 naira. Tomiwa returned to the hostel with the money and goodies, causing excitement among her roommates. Although Sama felt a hint of jealousy, potential conflict was averted thanks to Ada and Ngozi's intervention. Habib and Labaran, childhood friends, took different paths. Habib pursued education, while Labaran attended a driving school. Labaran, being a supportive friend, occasionally assisted Habib with funds from his job as a driver at the local government. When Habib entered politics, he reciprocated by appointing Labaran as his driver in gratitude for the past support. Chapter 6. School routines resumed. and the girls enter their final year. Despite their involvement with men, these 4 girls managed to prioritize their studies, excelling to the point that all were poised to graduate with a second-class upper degree despite pursuing different courses. Unfortunately for Sama, moral philosophy, typically considered an easy course, proved challenging for her. Like many students, she hadn't attended classes for this general course. However, the day before the exam, Sama attended a tutorial, relying on the lecturer's tendency to repeat questions with minimal changes. Armed with past papers, she entered the exam hall, only to realize the lecturer had deviated from the expected pattern. Desperate, she sought help from her seatmate, Kolawole Abdul, who initially resisted but eventually provided assistance for the first 2 questions. Sama's sudden inspiration to write caught the attention of the female invigilator, who observed her for some time before alerting the security personnel. Sama was caught copying from notes, leading to her signing the EMA form. Both Kola and another female student seated nearby were forced to sign as witnesses. Unfortunately, during the panel inquiry, Sama implicated Kola, resulting in his expulsion from the university. Chapter 7. In this chapter, Sama confides in her friend Tomiwa about her idea of approaching Labaran to talk to Honorable Habib, hoping it would influence someone influential to assist her in overcoming her predicament. Unfortunately, the only influential person Labaran knows is Professor Dabo. Sama, feeling helpless, discovers that Professor Dabo, the same person she insulted in a 100 level, is the one who can potentially help. Despite this, she desperately pleads with Honorable Habib to provide money for a bribe to the EMEC chairman, whom she describes as someone willing to sacrifice integrity for money. Honorable Habib agrees, but requests something in return, to which she acquiesces in his office. After obtaining the money, Sama prepares to meet the EMEC chairman at a hotel, giving 100,000 naira to Dr. Muhammad Kabir. However, she later learns during the panel inquiry that Dr. Kabir is an impostor, not even affiliated with the university, let alone the EMEC chairman. Chapter 8. chapter outlines how Dr. Mohammed Kabah acquired the title of doctor, a nickname dating back to his secondary school days. Initially employed as a laboratory technician at the university, his amiable nature fostered connections with influential individuals on campus. Upon Salman's distressing revelation about being deceived by an imposture, Labaran enlisted Zaki's help to track Mohammed Kabah. Zaki successfully recovered 300,000 naira from him after a substantial gambling win, using the money obtained from Salman. The chapter also unveils the orchestrator behind the kidnapping of Alhaji Adamu's son. Honorable Habib instructed Zaki to target Alhaji Adamu by kidnapping his son. However, Habib's involvement of an inexperienced villager, Tale, led to complications, nearly costing him millions to resolve the case with the police and secure the release of both himself and Tale. Chapter 9. In chapter 9, Umi narrates
what are you doing, Safe? I don't understand you.
Salim's harrowing encounter with smartphones, almost facing a life-threatening situation. Salim connected with a girl named Natasha on his social media platform. The planned physical meeting, scheduled for the evening at around 9, turned into a terrifying event. Salim agreed to visit her during that time, as she claimed restrictions on going out in the afternoon. To Salim's horror, the meeting with Natasha unfolded as a trap orchestrated by kidnappers and armed robbers. Through divine intervention, Salim managed to escape the dangerous situation set by Natasha and her accomplices.